Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how you can embed an image from a camera which is coming in just purely based as files. We have the ability to embed things like TwinCAT Vision into TwinCAT HMI, but if you have other camera systems and let's say for example you're getting your image delivered to you via FTP, maybe you've got some form of batch script running, it goes off and gets an image, puts it onto your IPC, so it's available as a JPEG or something along those lines. This is one of the techniques you can use to update your screen so it shows the current picture. At the moment, the way I'm going to show you is via a timer, and it's just going to cyclically go off and check for new pictures, and in this instance it's going to do it every second. You can take a very similar method to this and actually attach it to a symbol. So you could actually have a PLC symbol fire the code instead. So, but I'll show you this way, and then obviously you can customize this to suit. So what I've got is I've set up a project here. We can ignore the PLC project. There's nothing in there. I've done an import. I've grabbed. I've just called it camera image.jpg, and it's currently living in imports and images. And we can see there it's just a code but with a red border, just so we can see that it's actually working. I've not dragged that in at all. Let's just move some of these folders across. The only thing I've done is I've added a HTML host into the project. So just show you this one here. So I've dragged on a HTML host. As you drag it on, it actually gives you the ability to write HTML inside. You can't do HTML outside of a HTML host because TwinCAT HMI needs to understand exactly what the HTML structure is behind the scenes. So really the HTML host is our way of saying here's an area you can write your own custom code into, your own custom HTML code, and it'll appear inside this box. So once you've dragged it on, what you need to do is go into this and click the button up here, and what we're going to be doing, sorry, this one, is that will swap us into the code view instead. The alternative we can do is actually pull out this sidebar and you get both. So there we go. Right, so the HTML host, we can see here, it's already highlighted for us that we're living inside this HTML host here. And the code that I've added, I'm not going to live code it this time because it's only a very small video. The things we need to add to start with is just a straight image, an image HTML tag. So we're saying that I want an image to be placed inside here. I haven't done any styling. You may need to do things like minimum, maximum sizes, anything you want to style this is totally up to you. But the important things here, I've left the source empty, which is why it's not showing anything at the moment. But the important thing is I've ID'd it as live image. The second part of this that makes the whole thing work is I've made a script tag. And inside there, I first off get this element. So, and I get that by saying image equals document get element by ID live image. And then the second thing I do is say set interval. So for every 1 second, I'm going to call the code that is in this area here. So this is an anonymous function. So, and whenever you do set interval, it says, okay, set interval, give me a function you want to run and how what the time is between running. This notation here is JavaScript's way of doing an anonymous function at this point. So we're passing in no arguments into it, but yet we're running this bit of code just here. The code is image.source, so I'm applying directly into this source. I'm pulling in the path, which is imports image and camera image. And this is the bit that we need to do. We need to add a question mark, and then we add plus new date get time. Reason for this is if we were to continuously call the same name for the image, the browser's pretty intelligent, and what it does is it actually caches the image for us. And because it knows it's already received it, it doesn't actually go off into the network to try and pull the next image. So using the question mark, this is just a way of passing in options via I think they're called attributes, via the URL. So actually the image source completely ignores this, but it's enough for the browser to think that it's a completely different request. And that's it, that's all the code we need. So once that's been done, it does mean that we have to put the image from the camera into this location. It could be anywhere. We could actually make our own folder, because all of these folders become available to access as if it's a web server. So when you browse, you can browse to any of these folders. So at the minute, I've just kept it in here. Right, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to publish this to the HMI server. I'm going to do it on my own laptop at the moment, because there's no need to do this onto a CX, because it's exactly the same. So I'm just going to publish those changes. That should auto start a web browser once it's been completed. So progress just down here, which is done. We're just going to log in. Let's just get rid of that tab. Just going to log in with the default password. Okay, so after 1 second, it's gone on, looked inside imports, images, camera image, found it, and has displayed it. So far, so good. What we need to do now is I'll show you where you find this folder. So this will be the same as on your CX, or if you're running it locally on your IPC. What we're going to be looking for is C drive, program data, back off. Then we're going to go for TwinCAT 3 HMI server, service. You'll see the name of your project, www. And then this is the folder that is currently being served by the HMI server. So what we can see inside here, imports images, that is the image that's currently being served. The next thing I can do is I've set up another image just so we can tell. Okay, so camera image, I'm just going to drag it into this folder here. We're going to replace it, which is what you'd be doing. And you can see there, after a second, that code kicks in and requests a new picture from the server and updates it in the image. Just to prove that can go both ways, take the original image, put it back in the folder, replace the folder, and it's already swapped over. Had that have just been a straight image that was just doing its normal thing, the browser wouldn't have known to go and get it again. Okay, there we go. That should be it. One last thing I'd like to add on this before I go. If you're going to be copying files continuously to your hard drive, just bear in mind that if you're using a solid state drive, and you're doing this a lot, you're going to wear out your solid state drive. So techniques that you can use to negate this is with all Beckhoff IPCs. It comes with the UWF, which is the Unified Write Filter. That's worthwhile enabling, because if you enable the Unified Write Filter on a portion of your drive, maybe all of your drive, obviously you've got to exclude your project files that you need to allow changes to. But if you hit a folder and say no, don't allow writes to occur in this folder, what that write filter will do is actually store it to memory, or it will store it. I believe it just does store its memory. You wouldn't want to store it to hard drive, otherwise that negates the whole process. But yeah, tell it to store it to memory instead. That'll actually be doing memory writes all the time, and it just keeps them off the hard drive. It just pretends to write them instead, and it actually does it as a memory write instead. So I'd go down that route. Definitely investigate how to keep your hard drive safe, otherwise you don't want to wear them out. Perfect.